With the screeching of tires and blaring sirens, Officer Reynolds watched in disbelief when the stolen tank rolled toward them. As he and his colleagues blocked the street with their cruisers, they braced themselves for a standoff. However, when the thief's voice crackled over the tank's radio, the chilling demand left them horrified. The thief's demand echoed, sending a shiver down Reynolds' spine as he continued, "Give me what I want or I'll roll right over you." But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. When Officer Reynolds heard that a tank had been stolen, he couldn't believe it at first. What type of person would do such a thing? All units were immediately dispatched and given a location to gather their vehicles. Officer Reynolds had no idea the exact reason for it, but accepted the orders regardless, speeding toward the location. When he arrived, his eyes widened at the sight. An enormous tank stood in front of the squad of various cruisers of colleagues. Officer Reynolds approached his colleague and friend, who seemed to have arrived before him. "Hey, James. Do you have any clue what he is doing? We have him surrounded. Why is he not getting out?" he asked James Harlow. "Hey, Liam. To be honest, I don't have the slightest clue, but Cap knows." "I have only just arrived," James said, gesturing to the captain. It was then that the radio of the tank came alive. "If you don't comply with my request, I will find other means to get there. If you won't let me pass, I will go through you." He paled, seeing the tracks and wheels of the tank turning again. However, the radio and the man's voice didn't cease. "I am warning you all. I will either shoot to go through you or tear through this neighborhood to get where I want to go. I need to go there." Liam couldn't help but hear the desperation that the man had in his voice when he said the word need. Captain Deacon looked at his officers as Liam approached him, trying to get some light on the situation. He had no idea what the man even wanted, and he was threatening to shoot this police force. "Men, grab your cruiser and get out of the way for this man to pass. We will not advocate for the loss of life for either us or civilians." As soon as the command was given, the officers put their guns away and followed their order, getting into their cruiser to make some space for the tank to go through. Liam, however, still made his way to Captain Deacon. "Captain," he started as the captain turned to look at him expectantly. Liam knew he had to make this quick. "Has he given us any information of what he wants? By letting him continue, might we not endanger someone, as he must have stolen the tank for a reason?" Officer Liam Reynolds asked, but his captain immediately shook his head. "At the moment, he is threatening to blow up this force and run through this neighborhood, with a few remaining cruisers still obstructing the path that the tank wanted to take. The driver inside of it had diverted the direction that he was heading in, as the tank had now hit a civilian's car and started to go over it." Captain Deacon looked mortified as he reached for his megaphone, hoping that talking to the driver would stop this needless destruction. Captain Deacon gave Liam a quick glance. "Officer Reynolds, you now have orders to look into the identity of the driver." The tank steered toward the road again as the final cruiser got out of the way. "Cap wants to avoid loss of life at any cost." Nico looked at him incredulously. "So, he's just going to let him continue with driving that tank around this neighborhood?" he asked, and Liam nodded. "For now, until he has more information about the perpetrator. He is keeping a close eye and has anti-tank equipment, but seems to want to use it as a last resort." Under the dim glow of streetlights, Liam and Nico arrived at the military base, their mission clear: to uncover the origins of the stolen tank. At the base, they were met with a wall of suspicion. Military personnel guarded their secrets fiercely, viewing the police with a mixture of disdain and caution. Liam's attempts to bridge the gap were met with bureaucratic stonewalling, a dance of red tape, and reluctant cooperation that hinted at deeper rifts between the two entities. Frustration mounting, Liam, with a voice both calm and compelling, laid bare the gravity of the situation, his words painting a picture of potential chaos unspooling in the quiet streets of their town. Nico, backing him up, underscored the dire need for immediate action, their combined earnestness slowly melting the military's icy front. Their persistence paid off. Finally, a grudging nod from the base commander opened the doors to the surveillance room. Inside, rows of monitors cast a cold blue light, and as they sat down, Liam and Nico felt the weight of the task ahead, sifting through hours of footage for a clue, a face, anything. The first glimmers of truth emerged from the flickering screens. A shadowy figure, methodical and precise, bypassing security with an ease that suggested inside knowledge. Armed with snippets of the thief's visage, Liam and Nico turned to the latest in facial recognition technology, casting a wide net across criminal databases. Tension hung in the air as the computer beeped, a name flashing on the screen. The thief's identity was confirmed, yet it made no sense. This was a person with no history of violence, no criminal record. A puzzle piece that didn't fit the grim picture they had been painting. Yet beneath the surface of normalcy, they sensed hidden depths and unspoken truths that might explain why a seemingly average citizen would orchestrate such a daring and dangerous theft. Back at the station, the air was thick with anticipation as Liam and Nico presented their findings to Captain Deacon and the team. Each detail, each revelation from the military base was laid out, constructing a narrative that was both perplexing and alarming, drawing the team into the labyrinthine puzzle of the tank theft. Experts were called in, psychologists and profilers who delved into the mind of the perpetrator, searching for motives in the shadows of his actions. Captain Deacon, a seasoned chess player in the game of law enforcement, listened intently, absorbing the information. In this web of communication, every piece of data was a potential key to unlocking the thief's motives and preventing further chaos. Dive into Davidson's past revealed a life devoid of any criminal activity. His record was as clean as a whistle. This fact only deepened the mystery as the team pondered how a man with no history of law-breaking had suddenly orchestrated such a bold and dangerous act. Captain Deacon, a man accustomed to making tough calls, found himself in a peculiar quandary. After much contemplation, Captain Deacon decided against a show of force. He understood that the situation was delicate, possibly a cry for help rather than a violent outburst. His strategy would be one of empathy and understanding, a path less traveled in the field of law enforcement. The team shifted gears, transitioning from a tactical response to one of negotiation. They pored over Davidson's profile, seeking insights that might help in communicating with him. His clean record suggested a man possibly pushed to the brink, not a hardened criminal, shaping their approach to be one of dialogue rather than confrontation. In the nerve center of the operation, Liam and Nico huddled over maps and live feeds, their eyes tracing the slow, deliberate path of the tank. Davidson's driving, a peculiar mix of cautious and determined, became the subject of intense scrutiny. Alarm bells rang as the tank's lumbering silhouette neared a residential neighborhood. The team, now a flurry of activity, attempted to decode Davidson's trajectory. Why here? What drew him to this neighborhood? Suddenly, Davidson's tank veered off the main road, its massive treads rumbling towards a specific house. From a safe distance, the team watched, eyes fixed on Davidson's home. The tank sat silently outside, a steel behemoth out of place amidst the quaint houses. Inside the command center, questions flew. Was this a personal connection, a target, or something else? The atmosphere was tense as the police prepared for any eventuality. The balance between dialogue and action was delicate, each officer keenly aware of the stakes at play. Abruptly, the tank rumbled to life, its engine breaking the tense silence. Davidson maneuvered it away from the house, leaving without incident, his actions defying the team's expectations. Confusion and relief mingled in the air as they watched the tank retreat, the puzzle of Davidson's visit adding another layer of complexity to the unfolding drama. The team struggled to make sense of Davidson's abrupt departure from the house. Why show up and then leave without a word? Liam mused. The lack of confrontation, the absence of communication. It was as if Davidson was playing a game only he understood, leaving behind a trail of questions. The officers spoke with a mix of friends, colleagues, and casual acquaintances, each person offering a different shade to Davidson's character. Stories of his kindness were interspersed with hints of quiet, unspoken worries, as if Davidson had been living two lives, one seen by the world, the other a private battle. Amidst the hum of suburban life, a narrative of struggle emerged. Davidson's family, once the picture of normalcy, had been quietly grappling with unseen challenges. Financial woes, whispers of health issues, a litany of stresses that had been simmering beneath the surface, slowly chipping away at the family's veneer of stability. Back at the station, the team pieced together the testimonies, a jigsaw puzzle of a life under strain. A neighbor's offhand comment about an ambulance at Davidson's home a week prior struck a chord. It was an anomaly, a piece that didn't fit the mundane pattern of daily life. The revelation hit like a thunderbolt. Davidson's actions were driven by a father's love. His young son, bedridden and fading, had harbored a simple yet poignant wish to see a real tank. This wish, innocent yet impossible under normal circumstances, had propelled Davidson into the realm of the unthinkable, blurring the lines between right and wrong. Captain Deacon stood at a crossroads, the weight of decision heavy on his shoulders. The captain was torn. How to uphold the law while acknowledging the heartbreaking desperation of a father's love? Sympathy began to temper judgment as they grappled with the human story at the heart of this extraordinary situation. With a newfound understanding of Davidson's motive, Captain Deacon contemplated a response marked by sensitivity and care. The tank, an unwieldy beast of metal, came to a halt outside the children's hospital, its presence casting a shadow of both awe and fear. Inside, Davidson sat motionless, the standoff a silent cry in the cacophony of sirens and tense negotiations. Amid the tense standoff, a small, frail figure was wheeled out of the hospital, Davidson's son, eyes wide with a mixture of wonder and weakness. As the boy's gaze fell upon the tank, a fleeting smile danced across his lips, a dream realized in the most bittersweet of circumstances. In that moment, the standoff was forgotten, replaced by the innocent joy of a child's wish fulfilled. His son's wish granted, Davidson slowly emerged from the tank, his movements deliberate, resigned. His face, a canvas of relief and sorrow, told the story of a father who had traversed the moral abyss for the love of his child. Ready to face the consequences, he stepped into the embrace of the law, his sacrifice for his son's fleeting happiness complete. The police, moved by the poignant scene, approached with a gentleness uncharacteristic of such standoffs. There was an unspoken understanding, a shared humanity that transcended the roles of law enforcer and lawbreaker. The arrest was made, but with a compassion that honored the extraordinary circumstances, a testament to the force's empathy and discretion. As the story of the tank and the desperate father concluded, reflections abounded on the lengths a parent would go for their child. The consequences of Davidson's actions rippled through the community, a reminder of the complex tapestry of human emotion and the profound power of parental love. It was a story that would linger in the minds of all involved, a poignant blend of duty, desperation, and love.